Let's start with the prologue, the power of listening, transforming communication, and connection. Are you ready to turn every conversation into your most powerful business asset? In a world where noise often masks genuine connection, the power of listening, transforming communication, and connection reveals how truly hearing others can be the secret weapon your organization desperately needs. Many leaders struggle with miscommunication and lost opportunities because they miss the subtle cues that drive innovative thinking and lasting trust. This book uncovers practical, real-world strategies, such as active listening, reflective feedback, and context-aware communication that turn ordinary interactions into catalysts for breakthrough ideas and stronger relationships. Drawing on real-life examples from boardrooms, team meetings, and even casual family dinners, Simon shows you how dedicating a few moments of focused attention can clear the way for better decision-making and cohesive teamwork. Whether you're a CEO seeking to ignite creativity in your company, an entrepreneur looking to build a loyal client base, or a manager determined to unite a diverse team, the techniques provided in this book deliver clear, actionable benefits that drive results. By mastering these practical listening habits, you'll cut through the clutter of daily distractions, overcome internal biases, and build an environment where every voice is heard. The insights here not only enhance interpersonal dynamics, but also pave the way for a more inclusive, innovative, and resilient business culture. If you're ready to improve your leadership skills, boost your team's performance, and create stronger, more meaningful connections, it's time to put down the noise and pick up the power of listening. Transform your communication approach and watch your opportunities multiply. Get your copy now and start turning every conversation into a building block for success. Let's get into this introduction. Remember, I am Simon Blake and do visit emotional preparation. Common my color-coded fonts are pretty cool to unimproved dyslexia. This morning in a bustling city provided an unexpected lesson on the art of truly receiving. Another's intent. Picture a lonely commuter sitting on a crowded train, earbuds in place, eyes fixed on a flickering screen. Amid the constant chatter and clatter, a single, gentle word from a stranger's conversation broke through the noise, a word that carried more than its sound, hinting at hidden emotions and unspoken thoughts. This moment, unnoticed by most, offers a simple truth. Every word has layers waiting to be heard. Every pause holds more meaning than the immediate noise around us. Some might be surprised to learn that studies show nearly 90% of our communication occurs not through words, but through silent cues. An unintentionally shared look, a soft sigh, or a thoughtful pause. Such data invites us to question the very nature of our conversations. Do we really hear what others mean? Or are we simply processing a string of sounds that barely scratch the surface of their genuine intent? The power of listening lies in the willingness to accept the depth behind every utterance. To recognize that behind even a casual hello may lie an entire story of hope, sorrow, or resilience. Imagine a family gathering where an elderly relative, despite her weakening voice, shares fragments of a long-faded memory. Each word is interlaced with emotion, a reminder of times imbued with both joy and hardship. Instead of rushing to fill the silence with comments or advice, a thoughtful listener sits quietly, appreciating the weight of each syllable. This quiet reception transforms the exchange into something far more significant than a mere recounting of events. It becomes a shared space where connections are renewed and personal truths are acknowledged. A few years ago, a professor at a local community college recounted an occurrence that forever changed his perspective on communication. One day, after an intricate discussion in the classroom, a student approached him. The student's expression was one of quiet vulnerability, suggesting a struggle that was never voiced aloud. There was an unspoken plea hidden in the hesitancy of each word, a cry for understanding, and a hint of unmet needs. The professor, choosing to simply listen without interruption, experienced a moment of profound insight. He realized that the most meaningful learning often occurs in the space between questions and answers, in the silent exchange of honest emotion that is too delicate for ordinary conversations. This approach the decision to truly absorb what is offered, rather than merely waiting for an entrancing opportunity to speak, holds remarkable potential for transforming not just personal relationships, but entire communities. When one remains open to the subtle signals that underlie our daily bully interactions, life itself takes on a richer hue. Listening, then, becomes a practice of presence, a holding of space for ideas and feelings, however they may be expressed. It calls us to be more patient with the unscripted drama of human existence. Each conversation, no matter how brief or routine it might seem, carries the potential to shift perspectives, to sow seeds of understanding that might eventually grow into lasting change. Some of the most enduring memories in our lives are not tied to grand moments or extraordinary achievements, but to quiet, unnoticed instances of genuine connection. It might be the childhood memory of a parent quietly nodding in understanding as you struggled to articulate a feeling, or the simple relief of knowing that in a moment of crisis, you were not alone because someone took the time to listen. These incidents, often fleeting as they are profound, shape our understanding of trust and the nature of intimacy. They remind us that receiving another's intent is not merely about processing sound, it is about entering into a silent pact of respect and recognition where emotions are as significant as words. The potential for transformation through listening is perhaps most vividly seen in times of conflict. Consider a heated conversation where rising tempers threaten to sever bonds. Too often, dialogue is lost amid the clamor of defensive words and preemptive judgments. But imagine a withdrawn pause, a deliberate moment when all parties decide to truly accept the other's feelings before responding. In that suspended interval lies the chance for healing, a moment when misunderstandings and lies can be unraveled and every emotional nuance gets its fair consideration. The act of staying silent, of absorbing the full spectrum of what is meant, can shift the course of any disagreement toward reconciliation. This is not about agreeing with one another on every point, but about verifying that each party is seen, heard, and respected. Sometimes, the simplest act of listening might lead to an unexpected breakthrough in creativity or mutual understanding. A writer reminisced about a day when, sitting in a quiet park, he found himself inspired not by the loud bursts of conversations, but by an elderly couple's gentle back and forth. Their dialogue, punctuated by smiles and long pauses, allowed subtle emotions to surface. The writer absorbed every nuance, realizing that genuine understanding comes from noting every quiet detail. It was a lesson that went far beyond the realm of literature. It was a reminder that everyday interactions can spark creative insights when received with an open mind and a patient ear. This book challenges us to reconsider our habits of communication, to question whether we are truly listening or merely hearing. Instead of being swept away by the constant influx of sound in our modern lives, we are invited to find quiet moments of genuine connection. The value of thinking about our interactions in this way lies in the recognition that each conversation might be the seed for something transformative, a momentary pause that creates deeper relationships, revives trust, and even alters our view of the world. When you read these pages, consider the small moments that have defined your own experiences. Recall the times when someone truly listened to you, making you feel that your words mattered, that beneath every spoken sentence lay a need to be understood. There is a curious beauty in that vulnerability, in the willingness to let another person in. Whether the setting was a bustling coffee shop, a quiet evening at home, or a fleeting encounter with a stranger on the street, such moments reveal the intrinsic value of careful attention. Accepting another's words, accepting the unspoken currents that underpin them, has the power to shift the landscape of our lives, providing solace in times of distress and inspiration during moments of doubt. By stepping into a space where every conversation is approached as an opportunity for sincere connection, a world of possibility unfolds. Noteworthy is the way that even the briefest exchanges, when infused with genuine care, can evolve into moving experiences that linger in our memories. When one chooses to be fully present, to absorb the layers of meaning in what is said and in what is left unsaid, a shared humanity comes into sharper focus. It becomes clear that communication, in its purest form, is a series of small gestures, quiet nods, and heartfelt pauses that together build lasting bridges. As you turn the pages ahead, envision these words as invitations, calls to adjust your focus. And notice the subtle beauty in everyday interactions. Allow each sentence to remind you of the strength inherent in receiving another's intent without haste or judgment. For the stories here are not abstract concepts, but lived experiences quietly unfolding in the corners of our daily lives. They are the reminders that every moment of attentive silence is a chance to redefine how we connect with those around us, to celebrate the quiet power of another's voice, and to invest in a practice that has the potential to transform your understanding of what it means to truly listen. Ultimately, the journey you are about to explore will uncover that listening is more than the hearing of words. It is the profound act of accepting someone's entire being, wrapped in layers of emotion and unspoken intent. Let this realization guide you as you open your mind and heart to the subtleties of communication. In every pause, in every gentle query, there lies an opportunity for reconnection, and healing, a chance to revisit forgotten parts of yourself, and to nurture the bonds that make us human. The narrative that follows is an invitation to enter a state of mindfulness, where the art of receiving not just sound, but the rich mosaic of intent behind it becomes the cornerstone of a more meaningful existence. Let these words serve as your starting point, your gentle reminder to find value in the quiet moments that often pass unnoticed. For in those moments, there is a world waiting to be discovered, a world where the act of listening transforms communication into something far more profound than it might first appear. Let's go through part of this chapter. The art of listening goes beyond the mere reception of sound. It captures a subtle art that transforms everyday conversations into profound exchanges of meaning. Picture a quiet afternoon in a modest cafe where two strangers share a table. One speaks of dreams and challenges, while the other listens not with a rehearsed response waiting to be offered, but with genuine openness to what might be hidden beneath each uttered word. This scenario reflects a simple truth. When we truly receive what someone is communicating, we create connections that reshape our understanding of both the speaker and ourselves. The idea here pivots on a clear yet often overlooked distinction: hearing versus listening. Hearing is an involuntary process, a mere function of our biological makeup. It is the passive recognition of sound waves hitting our eardrums. Listening, on the other hand, requires a deliberate effort to capture not only the words, but the underlying feelings, intentions, and context behind them. Imagine a conversation between a mentor and a young artist. The mentor's advice might be couched in familiar phrases, yet the true lesson reveals itself in the mentor's tone, the pauses that signal deep reflection, and the unsaid thoughts that hovered just out of reach. The artist, absorbing these nuances, finds that the wisdom lies not solely in the words, but in the heartfelt delivery behind them. This way of receiving others stands as a reminder that our instinct to process information can sometimes be clouded by preconceptions or distractions. When we open ourselves to the intent behind another's speech, we create a space that welcomes honest communication. Recall a moment when a friend shared their personal struggles, not seeking immediate solutions, but simply needing an empathetic ear. In that instance, the act of listening transformed the conversation from ordinary chatter into a meaningful dialogue, a vital exchange that affirmed the friend's experience and acknowledged their inner reality. Such encounters illustrate that listening is not just a technique, but a decisive factor in strengthening personal bonds. Consider the power that lies in a pause, the thoughtful silence that invites further sharing. There is a time in many of our lives when a pause in conversations speaks louder than a burst of words. For instance, a business leader might note that brief silences during meetings can lead to more well-rounded perspectives. In those quiet moments, team members find the courage to voice concerns and innovative ideas that might have otherwise been stifled by the rush of rapid exchanges. The act of waiting, of being comfortable with silence, allows for a true reading of what is being communicated, both in spoken words and in the interplay of body language and emotion. Narratives from everyday life offer vivid illustrations of this principle. Imagine a scenario where a colleague, known for their quick wit, experiences a moment of vulnerability during a high-pressure project. Instead of dismissing the moment as an isolated weakness, one of their teammates listens intently, picking up on subtle tremors in the voice and slight hesitations that mark the unspoken plea for understanding. Such instances remind us of the profound impact that empathetic listening has, not only in bringing solace to those in distress, but in reinforcing the belief that our inner worlds, regardless of how complex they are, deserve acknowledgement. The journey toward becoming a genuine listener often begins with recognizing one's own need to feel heard. Many of us take for granted the simple pleasure of being listened to with sincerity, an experience that, when reciprocated, forms the basis of mutual respect and understanding. In various walks of life, be it in family gatherings, business negotiations, or creative collaborations, the act of receiving another's intended message goes a long way in problem, shaping the course of interactions. There is an inherent reward in welcoming another person's perspective simply for the sake of understanding it. This act of receiving not only nurtures the connection at hand, but also enriches our own experience, allowing us to see the world through a broader lens. Stories of miscommunication offer valuable lessons. They reveal how easily misunderstandings can arise when the true intent behind words is lost on time. Busy listeners, there was once a story of an entrepreneur who ventured into a new market, only to find that his sales pitch, crafted with precision and optimism, was met with puzzled expressions and hesitant responses. What seemed to be a clear explanation to him turned out to be a jumble of assumptions to his pace. Audience. The missing link here was the inadvertent dismissal of the subtle cues that spoke to local cultures and expectations. His experience serves as a reminder of how communication can falter when we are not fully attuned to the nuances behind spoken language. For many, the idea of gentle reception is as unfamiliar as it is essential. We often overlook the importance of taking the time to understand what someone really means. Instead, opt to impose our own interpretations onto their expressions. This rush to judgment can limit our experiences and constrain the range of our interactions. On the contrary, when we strive to receive messages in their entirety, we not only validate the speaker's feelings, but also open ourselves to a fuller spectrum of understanding. There is a kind of discipline involved here, a steady commitment to remaining present, to fully acknowledging the layers of meaning woven into each conversation. The lessons of receiving extend into the realm of creativity. Artists and thinkers alike find that their greatest breakthroughs come not from speaking alone, but from the silent spaces in between, where the unspoken serves as fuel for inspiration. In essence, listening becomes a mode of creative engagement, where the interplay of words and silence nurtures innovative ideas and fresh perspectives. A writer, for example, might sit quietly in a bustling coffee shop, absorbing the ambient conversations that form a rich background to their own thoughts. In that blend of noise and calm, genuine observations emerge, observations that might previously have been lost in the rush of everyday life. This narrative is not merely about the mechanics of sound, but about the way we transform those sound waves into something more substantial. True listening involves an awareness of the broader context, a recognition that every conversation is steeped in layers of emotion, history, and intent. It is about acknowledging that a single word may carry an entire universe of meaning, or that a pause might be laden with heartfelt emotion. The capacity to receive information in this way is a rare quality, one that requires not just practice, but a willingness to let go of our own preformed notions.